it is so important to be conscious, even when it makes you realize how much negative stuff you have enjoyed all your life until you realize it was anti-you.
Right.
So here's my context for this point. So Beyonce has a song, and her husband has a lyric in it that says, "Eat the cake, anime." It made my skin crawl. I could no longer listen to the song. But when I go out and I hear the song played, the people quoting the lyrics the loudest are women. And adamant, eat the cake. And I was like, do you remember the movie? Do you remember what happened after he said that? So, but if I say that in the wrong company, it's, it's just a song. We love, and I'm not saying that I don't love Beyonce, but I cannot stand that song. So I wonder, when we watch women, or we as women, and we see things like that, is that a part of the dialogue that we're supposed to have? Or is it a part of the freedom that you fought for to allow her to be that kind of woman?
I think it's both. I think that she gets to say it, that she gets to have her husband in the song saying it. I think it's terrible because it embraces and affirms abuse of women.
Yes.
And we know how horrible that was.
Yes.
We know that he almost killed her.
Right.
So that we know that. So that I think there's no excuse for it.
Okay.
But I think it happens a lot in the popular culture. I was in LA when Chris Brown was arraigned after beating Rihanna like a dog and throwing her out on the sidewalk. And at the courthouse, when he arrived, there were like 300 screaming young women, almost all black women, saying, "We love you, Chris. Rihanna is a hoe. We love you," all of that. And I was like, oh my God. They saw the picture. We saw the picture of her face. We saw the fact that she ran screaming after he threw her out of a car like a dog on the street. So that we have a lot of confusion.
Right.
We are not all a monolithic group who understands this is wrong. Domestic abuse is wrong. It doesn't matter whether or not she was trying to read his emails and see if he was fooling around. He's not supposed to beat her and throw her out in the street.
Right.
It doesn't matter if Jay-Z thinks that's a good rhyme. That's not good to reinforce that in us, that we would say that. So I think we absolutely have the right to that dialogue. And I know what you mean about, people out dancing and you say, have y'all listened to this?
I'm at the restaurant like this.
They say, don't let Michelle.
We ain't invite Michelle anything else.
But that's part of it. And they will invite you, but they'll roll their eyes. You have said what you have to say, because if you don't say anything when that stuff happens, then you take all that home with you, that frustration and that anger. I remember teaching at Spelman, and they had a jukebox on Friday they would play, and it was in, like they would have outdoor market and people dancing and music. And some of the rap songs they'd be playing were so anti-women, so violent toward women. And I said to the girls, why do you allow this to be played on your campus? And they said, well, we don't listen to the music, we really like the beats. That was one group. The other group said, well, what can we do? I said, you can unplug the jukebox. Unplug the jukebox. Tell them, no, we're not having it. We don't want tip drill playing on our campus. We don't want things about rape is okay on our campus. We don't want something about eat cake on our campus. You can do it. And I think the idea that they could claim the power on their own campus was like a revelation to them. And I said, this is Spelman. We own this one. We're in charge anywhere. We're in charge at Spelman. So let's decide what we want and what we believe and then make that happen. But I think the popular culture is difficult, and Beyonce is such a complex figure because she presents herself in so many ways, which is why anywhere she goes in the world, there's a lot of people that like her because she knows how to please a wide group of people. And she's beautiful, and she has an interesting life, and she's fabulous and all of that. So that her skill allows her to find a way to talk to a large number of people. And it's absolutely important for us to feel that we can critique the work that she does. To be able to do it and to be able to make our friends roll their eyes, but to continue to do it. Because she's a very strong force, and she'll make a song about independent women, and she'll quote a wonderful African feminist, and it's like you go, Beyonce, this is great, and you hear to eat the cake and say, okay. She's not a professor. She's a pop artist, so it's like, okay, did we expect, if we had known what Diana Ross thought about everything, who knows what she thinks about things. But now, the culture is such that we know everything about these people. We hear everything, we see everything. So we have a right to critique her, and we can love her and critique her at the same
time. Thank you.
You know, if we are critical about her and we speak critically about her work, it's not going to hurt her at all.
Not one bit. And it's not my intent.
And the possibility exists that one day she could be flipping through a magazine and see it and say, oh my God, I never thought of it that way.
Exactly.
You know, she's young. She's been famous since she was, what, about 12 years old, 14 years old? So that there's a lot that she missed because she's good at stuff that we don't do. We don't know how to take an arena full of 60,000 people and make them just love us. Most of us can't do that. So she has a really amazing skill set, but she also has a reach that is so wide, sometimes it makes it seem like, you know, how can you take that on? And you don't have to take it on. Because our job is not to make her change. Our job is to make sure that we change, that we recognize it, and that we speak that truth. And if enough of us do it, then she'll hear it. You know, because she's selling music to us and to our daughters and our granddaughters and our grandsons and our sons. And she'll hear it, but it's up to us to keep critiquing and to keep saying it with admiration if we admire her, with love if we love her, but to tell people the truth.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell Pearl said.